You've arrived at Born into Light, a place for conscious growth, emotional awareness and becoming whole. Maybe you've been feeling it lately, that quiet shift inside you, not loud, not dramatic, just different, like something within you has been rearranging itself in silence. If this message found you at a strange, reflective moment, that's not an accident. You've been changing. Not in the way people notice right away, not in a way that demands applause, but in the way your reactions have softened, in the way you pause before speaking, in the way you no longer chase what once felt urgent. That's transformation. And it's almost complete. You shed layers you didn't even realize you were carrying. Old patterns, old fears, old versions of yourself that were built just to survive. There was a time when you reacted quickly to protect yourself. A time when you over-explained to be understood. A time when you held on because letting go felt like losing. But look at you now. You sit with your emotions instead of fighting them. You feel discomfort without running. You choose silence over noise, peace over proving. That didn't happen by accident. It happened because you've been doing the quiet work. The kind no one sees, the kind that doesn't get celebrated. The kind that reshapes your inner world, brick by brick. And now, you're standing at the final step. Not a dramatic leap, not a fiery test, just one gentle, powerful shift. Trust. Not trust in everything going perfectly. Not trust that life will always be smooth. But trust in yourself. Trust in the person you've become. Because the truth is, you already know who you are now. You felt it in those moments when you didn't react the way you used to, in the calm that surprised you, in the boundaries you held without guilt, in the love you gave without losing yourself. The final step isn't about becoming someone new. It's about fully accepting the version of you that's already here. No more doubting your growth, no more questioning whether you've done enough, no more shrinking just because the old version of you feels familiar. Growth can feel uncomfortable not because it's wrong, but because it's unfamiliar. You are not who you were, and that can feel strange. There's a quiet grief that comes with transformation, a goodbye to the person who carried you through darker seasons, a farewell to coping mechanisms that once protected your heart. But you don't need them anymore. You're stronger now, not louder, not harder, not colder. Just steadier. Your strength is softer now. It doesn't need to defend itself. It doesn't need to convince anyone. It simply exists. The final step is choosing to stand in that steadiness without apology, letting yourself be seen as you are, calm, grounded, evolving. You don't need one more breakthrough. You don't need one more sign. You don't need to prove your worth through struggle. You are allowed to arrive gently. You are allowed to feel proud quietly. You are allowed to rest inside the person you've worked so hard to become. This is what nearly complete transformation feels like. Not fireworks, not chaos, just a deep exhale, a quiet knowing. And the realization that the person you were becoming has been here all along. You were never behind. You were unfolding. Every moment of confusion was shaping clarity. Every delay was strengthening patience. Every disappointment was refining your discernment. What felt like stagnation was actually integration, because transformation isn't just about learning something new, it's about embodying what you've learned, and you've been embodying it quietly. You notice it in the way you no longer argue with reality, in the way you let people misunderstand you without scrambling to correct them, in the way you stopped abandoning yourself just to keep the peace. There is a new steadiness in you. It's subtle, but it's powerful. You don't need constant reassurance anymore. You don't need to chase validation. You don't need to rush your own becoming. There's a calm confidence growing in your chest. Not loud, not flashy, just rooted. And maybe the final step is allowing that confidence to lead. Not your fear, not your past, not your old narratives, just this grounded version of you. The one who responds instead of reacts. The one who listens to their body. The one who feels deeply but doesn't drown in it. You've learned emotional awareness in a way that textbooks could never teach. You sat with your sadness without turning it into self-blame. You felt anger without letting it define you. You've experienced longing without losing your center. That's maturity, that's growth, and it's sacred in its quietness. The final step isn't something you have to chase. It's something you allow. You allow yourself to stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios. You allow yourself to stop bracing for impact. You allow yourself to believe that stability can last. For a long time, your nervous system was trained to expect turbulence, so peace felt suspicious, calm felt temporary. But now, you're learning that calm can be your baseline, that peace doesn't have to be earned through exhaustion, that you don't need chaos to feel alive. This is the shift. Letting life be gentle, letting love be simple, letting success feel aligned instead of forced. You are not becoming more intense, you are becoming more clear. Clear about what you tolerate, clear about what you value, clear about who you are when no one is watching, and clarity changes everything. It changes how you move, how you speak, how you choose. There's no rush in you anymore. There's intention. You no longer feel the need to prove your depth. You just live it. You no longer seek to be chosen. You choose. You no longer fear being alone. You enjoy your own presence. That is the quiet power you've been growing into. And maybe the final step is simply trusting that this version of you is enough to carry your future, not a perfected version, not a flawless version. This one, the one who has scars but also self-respect. The one who has memories but also boundaries, the one who feels deeply but stands firmly. You don't need another transformation. You need integration. You need to breathe inside your new skin without trying to crawl back into the old one. You need to let yourself be seen, not as who you used to be, not as who people expect, but as who you are right now. Soft, strong, aware, whole in progress. And as you sit with that, really sit with it, you might notice something subtle. There's no urgency anymore, no inner alarm, just a steady heartbeat, a grounded presence, a quiet, unwavering knowing that you are no longer in transition. If this message feels like it's meeting you at the right moment in your journey, you're exactly where you need to be. If you feel called, you can subscribe to Born into Light and gently like this video to support this space. And in the comments below, type "I trust my becoming" as a quiet promise to yourself. You are here, not halfway, not almost, not waiting to become. Here. And when you truly arrive in yourself like this, something unexpected happens. You stop searching for the next version of you. For so long, growth felt like climbing. Always reaching, always improving, always fixing. There was always another layer to peel back, another habit to break, another wound to heal. But now, there is less fixing and more honoring. You begin to honor the way you think, the way you feel, the way you move through the world. You don't rush to correct every emotion anymore. You don't shame yourself for having hard days. You don't interpret every setback as failure. You understand something deeper now. You understand that being human is not a flaw in your spiritual growth. It is the soil of it. And that understanding softens you, not into weakness, into compassion. Compassion for the parts of you that are still learning. Compassion for the parts that still get triggered sometimes. Compassion for the parts that are tired. The final step was never about becoming untouchable. It was about becoming integrated. There is no part of you that needs to be exiled anymore. Not your sensitivity, not your ambition, not your past. You can hold it all without collapsing. That's new. There was a time when one emotion could take over your entire day. One comment could shift your entire sense of self. One rejection could reopen every old wound. But now, you pause, you breathe, you respond. That space between feeling and reacting, that's your quiet strength. That space is where your transformation lives. And the more you live from that space, the more grounded you become. You begin to trust your timing. You no longer compare your path to others because you can feel the alignment in your own steps. Even when they're slow, You no longer chase intensity because you've tasted stability, and you prefer it. There is a deeper peace settling into you. It's not the kind of peace that means nothing ever goes wrong. It's the kind that means you don't abandon yourself when things do. You stay present, you stay honest, you stay anchored. And that staying, that is the completion. Because the old version of you would have run. Run toward distraction, run toward validation, run toward anything that kept you from sitting with yourself. But you don't run anymore. You remain. You remain when conversations get uncomfortable. You remain when emotions rise. You remain when silence stretches. That steadiness changes everything. It changes how others feel around you. It changes how you feel about yourself. It changes the energy you carry into every room. You are no longer seeking to be understood by everyone. You understand yourself, and that is enough. The final step wasn't loud. It didn't come with a sign or a dramatic shift in your external world. It came as a subtle realization that you don't need to become someone else to deserve the life you desire, that you don't need to prove your healing through struggle, that you don't need to hold tension in your body to feel prepared. You can soften now. You can unclench. You can let your shoulders drop. Because the strength you were searching for was never about control. It was about presence. And you have it now. A grounded presence that doesn't need to announce itself. A quiet confidence that doesn't need applause. A steady heart that doesn't need constant reassurance. You've crossed something invisible. There is no ceremony for it. Just this calm awareness that you are no longer trying to survive your life. You are living it, fully aware, fully feeling, fully here. And in this stillness, there is nothing left to chase. Only space to breathe. And in that space, something sacred begins to unfold. Not a new identity, not a dramatic reinvention, but a deepening. You begin to notice how natural it feels to be yourself now, how little effort it takes to stand in your truth, how conversations feel lighter when you're not performing, how decisions feel clearer when you're not trying to please. There's a quiet alignment settling into your bones. You wake up with less resistance. You move with less inner conflict. You speak with less second-guessing. And even when uncertainty appears, it doesn't shake you the way it used to. Because you trust your ability to handle it. That's the shift. You don't need life to be predictable anymore. You just need to trust yourself within it. There was a time when you tried to control outcomes so you could feel safe. You overthought. You overfought. You replayed conversations in your head. You tried to anticipate every possibility so nothing could catch you off guard. But now, you're learning to let go of that tight grip. You're realizing that safety isn't found in controlling the future. It's found in knowing you can meet it. That's emotional maturity. That's quiet power. You developed a relationship with yourself that is steady. You listen inward before you react outward. You check in with your heart before you say yes. You pause long enough to feel what's true. And that pause, that sacred pause, has changed your life more than any breakthrough ever did. You are no longer driven by urgency. You are guided by awareness. And awareness feels calm. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't pressure you. It doesn't demand that you become something you're not. It simply invites you to be honest. Honest about what you need. Honest about what you're ready for. Honest about what no longer fits. And as you continue walking from this honesty, you may notice something else. You don't feel as triggered by the things that once disturbed you. You don't feel as desperate for answers. You don't feel as afraid of endings. There's a quiet acceptance inside you now, an understanding that everything has its season, and you no longer fight the turning of those seasons. You allow things to fall away without chasing them. You allow new things to approach without clinging to them. You become balanced in a way that feels deeply rooted, not detached, not indifferent, just centered. You can care deeply without losing yourself. You can love fully without dissolving your boundaries. You can dream boldly without abandoning the present moment. That balance is rare, and it didn't come from avoiding pain. It came from walking through it consciously. You felt your way through the hard days instead of numbing them. You questioned your patterns instead of defending them. You chose growth even when it was lonely, and now here you are, not finished, but integrated, not perfect, but grounded. You understand now that transformation isn't about escaping who you were. It's about embracing every chapter that shaped you, even the messy ones. Especially the messy ones, because without them, you wouldn't have this depth, you wouldn't have this compassion, you wouldn't have this calm. And this calm, this steady, unshaken presence is the true completion. Not because life will never test you again, but because you no longer fear the test. You trust the one taking it, you trust yourself. And in that trust, there is a softness that wasn't there before, a gentleness in the way you speak to yourself, a patience in the way you move, a grace in the way you forgive your own imperfections. You've stopped fighting your humanity. You stopped rushing your becoming. You stopped measuring your worth by how much you endure. Now, you simply exist, aware, open, steady. And as you sit here, breathing slowly, feeling the quiet strength in your chest, there is nothing missing, no final proof required, no dramatic confirmation needed. Just this deep, grounded knowing that you have arrived within yourself. And when you truly arrive, you stop asking, "What's next?" with urgency. You begin asking it with curiosity. There's a softness in your curiosity now. It's not desperate. It's not trying to escape the present moment. It simply wonders gently what life will unfold from this steadiness. Because for the first time in a long time, you are not building from fear. You are building from clarity. You are choosing from wholeness, not from lack. That changes the texture of everything. The way you enter relationships, the way you approach opportunities, the way you speak about your dreams. There's no tightness behind your words anymore. No hidden plea to be validated, just honesty. And honesty feels clean. You no longer stretch yourself thin trying to hold spaces that drain you. You no longer overextend just to feel needed. You understand that your energy is sacred. Not in a dramatic way, but in a practical, grounded way. You've learned that protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's responsible. There is a new standard inside you now, not a rigid one. Not one rooted in pride, but one rooted in self-respect. You know what alignment feels like in your body. You know what misalignment feels like too, and you trust those signals. You trust the quiet tightening in your chest that tells you something isn't right. You trust the warmth in your gut that tells you something is safe. You are no longer disconnected from yourself. That reconnection was the real transformation. Not the outer glow, not the new habits, not the visible changes, but the inner reunion. You came back to yourself. You reclaimed the parts of you that were silenced. You honored the emotions you were once told to hide. You gave yourself permission to evolve without asking for approval. And that kind of self-return, it's sacred. Because when you return to yourself, you stop searching for someone else to complete you. You stop outsourcing your sense of worth. You stop bending to fit into spaces that shrink you. You stand as you are, not rigid, not defensive, just present. There is a grounded humility in you now. You don't need to announce your growth. You don't need to explain how far you've come. You don't need to compare your journey to anyone else's. You simply live it. You let your actions reflect your healing. You let your boundaries reflect your self-love. You let your calm reflect your strength. And people can feel that, not because you're trying to be seen, but because authenticity has acquired gravity. It draws without force. It influences without pressure. And you didn't chase that magnetism. You earned it through awareness, through nights of reflection, through moments of choosing differently, through forgiving yourself when you fell back into old habits and trying again anyway. That persistence, gentle but steady, is what carried you here. You didn't transform overnight. You transformed in small, unseen decisions, in the times you chose silence over reaction, in the times you chose honesty over comfort, in the times you chose growth over familiarity. And now you don't feel like you're chasing a better version of yourself. You feel like you are living as the one you worked so quietly to become. There is something deeply peaceful about that. No more inner war. No more constant self-criticism. No more feeling like you're not enough yet. You understand that enough isn't a destination, it's a decision, and you've made it. You decided to be enough as you grow. Enough as you learn. Enough as you heal. You don't wait to be flawless to feel worthy. You don't postpone self-acceptance until everything is perfect. You accept yourself in motion, in progress, in becoming. And that acceptance, that steady, grounded acceptance, is the final step. Not a dramatic breakthrough, not a loud announcement, just this quiet, unwavering embrace of who you are. Right now, as you breathe in this moment, there is nothing left to chase. Nothing left to prove, nothing left to fight within yourself. There is only this calm presence, this gentle awareness, this steady heart that knows you are no longer trying to become whole. You are learning how to live as it, and living as it feels different than striving for it ever did. There is less tension in your body now, less noise in your mind, less pressure to constantly redefine yourself. You're not waking up each day asking, who do I need to be today? You're waking up asking, how can I stay true to who I already am? That shift is subtle, but it changes everything. You move through conversations with more presence. You listen without secretly preparing your defense. You speak without over-editing your truth. You allow moments to be imperfect without spiraling into self-doubt. There is space inside you now, space between thought and reaction. Space between emotion and action. Space between who you were and who you are choosing to be. That space is where your wisdom lives, and you've grown comfortable there. You don't rush to fill silence anymore. You don't rush to solve every problem immediately. You don't rush to label every feeling. You allow life to breathe. You allow yourself to breathe. And when you do, something beautiful happens. You begin to notice joy in quieter places. Not just in achievements, not just in milestones, but in ordinary moments. A calm morning, a clear conversation, a boundary respected, a decision made without guilt. These things once felt small, now they feel profound, because you understand what it took to get here. You understand how much inner work it required to reach this steadiness. How many times you had to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it. How many times you had to forgive yourself for not knowing better, and instead of feeling ashamed of your past, you feel grateful for it. It shaped you, it refined you, it taught you what alignment feels like by showing you what misalignment costs. You don't romanticize your struggles anymore. You don't glorify pain as proof of growth. You simply respect the lessons, and you carry them forward without carrying the weight. That's the difference. You've kept the wisdom. You've released the heaviness. There's a lightness in you now that isn't naive. It's earned. It's the kind of lightness that comes from no longer fighting yourself. You trust your intuition more quickly. You leave situations that don't feel right without needing dramatic justification. You allow people to misunderstand you without collapsing into self-doubt. You understand that being aligned won't always make you understood, and you're okay with that because you understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, you stop seeking constant external mirrors. You don't need applause to feel secure. You don't need reassurance to feel chosen. You don't need noise to feel alive. You found something deeper, a quiet internal anchor. No matter what shifts around you, that anchor remains. Even if a plan changes, even if a relationship evolves, even if a dream looks different than you imagined, you remain steady. You adapt without losing yourself. You bend without breaking. And perhaps that's the true completion. Not becoming unshakable, but becoming flexible without fear, strong without rigidity, soft without fragility. You are no longer afraid of your own depth. You no longer feel overwhelmed by your own sensitivity. You see it as strength. You see your emotional awareness not as something that makes life harder, but as something that makes it richer. You can feel deeply and still remain grounded. You can care deeply and still choose yourself. That balance is maturity. That balance is power. And it doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be proven. It simply exists in the way you carry yourself now, in the way you walk into a room without shrinking, in the way you leave a situation without resentment, in the way you sit alone without loneliness consuming you. There is a wholeness in you that no longer depends on perfect circumstances. It depends on your presence. And you are present, fully, gently, steadily. You are no longer chasing a breakthrough. You are living in integration. And in this integration there is a quiet joy, not explosive, not overwhelming, just steady. A soft contentment that whispers, "You've done the work." A calm awareness that says, "You can trust yourself now." And as you sit with that realization, you don't feel the need to rush into the next chapter. You let it approach you, because you know whatever comes next will meet someone who is no longer fragmented, someone who is no longer searching for themselves in other people, someone who is no longer afraid to stand still. And standing still like this, grounded, aware, open, feels like the most powerful place you've ever been. Because for the first time, your power doesn't feel like force. It feels like peace. There was a season when you thought power meant pushing harder, proving more, enduring longer, holding everything together no matter how heavy it became. But now you understand something gentler. Real power is being able to put something down, to say this is no longer mine to carry. Real power is choosing rest when your body asks for it, choosing honesty when silence would be easier, choosing yourself without making it a battle. You don't feel the need to grip life so tightly anymore. You let it move, and you move with it. There is a deep emotional intelligence in you now. You can sense when you're overwhelmed before it spills over. You can recognize when you're triggered without shaming yourself for it. You can communicate your needs without apologizing for having them. That kind of awareness changes the way you experience everything. Conflict no longer feels like a threat to your identity. Silence no longer feels like rejection. Aloneness no longer feels like abandonment. You have redefined what safety means. Safety is no longer external, it's internal. It's the way you speak to yourself when no one else is around. It's the way you stay present when emotions rise. It's the way you choose alignment over approval. And because of that, your life begins to feel less chaotic. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are centered. There is a calm rhythm to your days now. You don't wake up bracing for impact. You wake up with openness. Even when challenges appear, you meet them differently. You don't spiral, you assess, you don't panic, you pause, you don't abandon yourself, you anchor deeper. This is what it means to have completed something within. Not that you finished growing, but that you finished running. Running from discomfort, running from vulnerability, running from your own depth. You're not afraid of your depth anymore. You know it holds wisdom. You know it holds creativity. You know it holds love that is steady and mature. And that love, the one you've cultivated within yourself, feels different now. It's not desperate. It's not performative. It's not trying to earn anything. It's simply there. A quiet self-respect that shows up in the smallest ways, in the way you decline what doesn't feel right, in the way you protect your time, in the way you allow yourself to be seen without over-explaining. You no longer feel the need to shrink to make others comfortable. You no longer feel the urge to expand beyond yourself to be impressive. You simply exist at your natural size, and that authenticity creates ease. There is no double life inside you anymore. No hidden version trying to keep up. Just one integrated self walking calmly forward. And maybe that's the final step you didn't even realize you were stepping into. Wholeness, not perfection. Not completion in the sense of nothing more to learn, but wholeness in the sense of nothing more to hide. You are no longer fragmented between who you are and who you think you should be. You are aligned, and alignment feels quiet. It doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need to convince anyone. It simply breathes. Just like you are breathing now, slowly, steadily, present in your body, present in your life. There is no dramatic ending to this transformation. No fireworks, no final test, just this deep, grounded realization settling gently into your chest. You are not becoming, you are being. And being like this feels like coming home. Home is not a place outside of you. It's this steadiness in your chest, this calm in your thoughts, this softness in the way you hold yourself. You searched for this feeling in achievements. You searched for it in relationships. You searched for it in becoming someone better, but it was never waiting at the end of a finish line. It was waiting in your willingness to sit with yourself long enough to listen. And now you can hear yourself clearly. Your needs don't feel confusing anymore. Your boundaries don't feel selfish. Your emotions don't feel like enemies. They feel like guidance. You trust the signals within you. You trust the pace of your growth. You trust that what is meant for you will not require you to abandon yourself to receive it. There is a deep emotional steadiness in you now, the kind that doesn't crumble at the first sign of uncertainty. You don't need guarantees to move forward. You don't need constant reassurance to feel secure. You don't need everything to be perfect to feel at peace. Because peace is no longer dependent on circumstances. It's anchored in your awareness, and awareness has become your compass. You are more intentional with your energy, more thoughtful with your words, more patient with your own unfolding. You've stopped rushing your healing. You've stopped criticizing your process. You've stopped comparing your timeline. There's a quiet dignity in the way you move now. You don't argue with your growth. You honor it. You don't dramatize your evolution. You embody it. And as you embody it, life begins to respond differently. Not because you are forcing it, but because you are aligned with it. You are no longer fighting the current, you are flowing with it, even when you don't know exactly where it leads. And that is the final step, surrender, not in defeat but in trust, not giving up, but letting go of the need to control every outcome, letting go of the pressure to constantly improve, letting go of the belief that you are unfinished. You are not unfinished, you are evolving. And that evolution no longer feels chaotic. It feels steady, it feels grounded, it feels safe. You've become someone who can sit in silence without fear, someone who can feel deeply without drowning, someone who can love fully without losing themselves. That is not small, that is not ordinary, that is the result of deep unseen work. And as you breathe in this moment, there is nothing urgent calling you to fix yourself. There is nothing broken demanding repair. There is just you, whole in your humanity, strong in your softness, aware of your depth. Your transformation didn't arrive with noise, it arrived with clarity. It arrived with acceptance. It arrived the moment you decided to stay with yourself instead of running. And now, standing here, steady, open, grounded, you don't feel like you are waiting for your life to begin. You feel like you are finally living it, fully present, fully integrated, fully at home within your own heart. If this message resonated with where you are right now, you're always welcome here at Born into Light. If it feels aligned, you can gently subscribe and like this video to support this space and the journey we're walking together.